Welcome back, trainers, to your go-to stop for all things YPL, the YouTube Pokémon League. Today we've got a guest who's drafted a methodical, strategic, and possibly terrifying team for the season. He's the coach of the Villablanca Belligods. Say hello to Coach Mario. What's going on?
Hey, hi. You're Mario, coach of the Villablanca Belligods.
Yep, that's him. And honestly, I'm really glad we're doing this because I remember I originally asked you, just so people know, and you're just so busy right now that we only managed to kind of squeeze in this little 15 to 20 minute block. So I do appreciate you setting a time aside because I know you're a very busy guy right now specifically. So thank you for that. But let's just dive right into some of the questions I have, and you've listened to the other ones, so you kind of know what to expect. But I'm going to see if I can throw you off a little bit, just so we can get the real Mario in this interview rather than just cookie cutter. So when it came to building the team, did you go in with like a plan? Like, so more the draft that we're talking about. Did you go in with more of a plan, or did you kind of let the board shape your decision? Like, was there a specific archetype you were targeting?
Usually when I started a draft, I used to see if I can find any hidden gems to pick in my first round, and in this draft, I aim for Paris Trap because I thought that not everybody is gonna pick something like Screamtail like I did in first round. So I made a plan of 4 or 5 months to pick first that I thought that could pick, and then the rest see the pool.
Yeah, so you definitely went in with the I want Paris Trap, try to stop me kind of thing, and I thought you started off very well with Screamtail because it supports any team very well, and it definitely goes along with the Paris Trap that you were targeting, which is cool. So you drafted a Paris Trap core, which for those who don't know, Paris Trap is like a classic kind of end game win condition that was like popularized by Wolf Glick. Like he's the GOAT, like he's the best in the world at it. No one would disagree with that statement. Wins very high power and low power tournaments with Paris Trap, which is you use the song Paris Song. Everyone on the field, including yourself, perishes in 3 turns, but your team has something to trap your opponent in so they can't stop the Paris Song because once you switch out. But he can switch all he wants at the end or middle of the turns and then you just win by not doing damage. So just so people know. So what drew you into that strategy? Was it like comfort? Like, are you comfortable playing the Paris Trap? Was it a meta read in this format, or you just kind of wanted to force panic every turn?
Just the opposite. I'm not feel comfortable with Paris. I play competitive since Sun and Moon, and my first BGC team or my kind of playing style is hyper offense. I used to try to build things that can surprise my opponents, because I was a ladder warrior. So yeah, I learned how to build and to play hyper offense. But one of my weakness by learning to play like that is that I used to rush my plays. So I think 2 or 3 months ago, when Wolf won their second consecutive tournament with Paris, I thought about, well, let's try this. And Paris is the most annoying kind of archetype. Like, it's the opposite to hyper offense, because you have to switch your mons to have control of the game, to position a very good position. So I try to to switch my weakness into a strength, trying to learn how to pilot this kind of archetype.
Well, and I think that that does really well too. Like, and we all know that there was like an influx of Paris Trap teams that started popping up when Wolfie started winning with it. And I think everybody wants to do their best Wolfie impression by doing that. I don't know about you, but in draft leagues that I've played in, I feel like every season since Wolf started doing it more and more, in Scarlet and Violet, I'm starting to see more and more Paris Trap teams built around in draft. And you had it in SCDA and you have it now. So, and I think that your hyper offense kind of play style, like natural play style, I like to emphasize because play style is the one that wins, I like to say. You play with what wins. If it's going to be hyper offense or if it's, balance, you have to do it. That's what's needed. I think that combination with the slow 3-turn kind of KOs with Perish Song and hyper offense combined, it's really hard for your opponent to kind of choose what you're going to do. And, it's hard to prepare for both. Like you and I faced off in SCDA last season. And I had my Perish Trap answers and this and that, but you also had, I think that one you had a Rain Core and with Kingdra, and it was very offensive. So if you sit back and you have your answers to Perish Song and you lead the hyper offense Rain with Kingdra, you might just get caught with a hyper offensive mode and no way to stop it, which I believe happened to me in that game, and I think that brought you the win, which was really nice. You played that very well. So hopefully you don't do that to me again this season, and you do it to everybody else. So that'll be exciting to watch.
I hope I do.
Yeah, I hope we don't play. I haven't really seen the schedule yet. But Perish Trap doesn't always need
week 3.
What's that?
We play in week 3, I think.
Oh, no. Well, that'll be fun, I'm sure. Perish Trap doesn't always need like raw speed, right? But doubles is still like a speed format like VGC. Did you build around Tailwind or Trick Room, or do you like rely on positioning for this team specifically?
I like to build around Tailwind more, but I think it's not. I can play without Tailwind. I can play using my switchings and positioning my mons to get advantage in every game. But yeah, I like more Tailwind than Trick Room. That I think is I can master that kind of hard Trick Room kind of play style.
Yeah, and I think having both on a Perish Trap team is really important. Like, and you have a very good, Trapper and Trick Room setter in Gothitelle, which is why it's usually the Pokemon of choice for it. And you got the Screamtail that can do that as well. But not the trapping, sorry. It's more so the perishing. But, yeah, like, and the cool thing about having Trick Room at the end is because, like, it's the way that if everyone's about to KO, you already know this, if everyone's about to KO at the end due to Perish Trap in, like, a 2v2, the room will determine who wins the game. So if you're on the last turn and you set Trick Room to put yourself in a good position, you will win the game, but you'll win 0-0. But if you don't have that Trick Room at the end, you will lose 0-0. So it's a really neat way of putting VGC, turning it on its head, just to play it completely differently than everybody else has played it for years. But that being said, like, you've developed, and talking to the community and kind of hearing people talk about you specifically as a player, you've kind of developed a reputation in other leagues for being very creative. Whether it's been like wild sets or like clever synergy or unconventional leads or sets, how much of that is like baked into your identity as a coach? And you think we'll see that this season?
Yeah, I think for that. I believe that I'm a creative player because I don't like to play with other people things. I like to know what are my why I build something to counter what are my strengths, my tricks, my tech to counter other mons. So I used to build my own things in VGC or in draft, of course, to feel like they are my own things and they have my own strategies. And yeah, something that I'm knowing or is that I used to drop protect in almost every of my months. Something that I have to not do with Paris Trap, because protect is such an important move to play with this strategy, and that's why I'm trying to learn how to play this, because protect is one of my less used moves in competitive play.
Well, if you're protecting, you're not doing damage, right? So, like, just if you click protect, you're not doing damage. You're not progressing the game. I get it very, very much. So enough about your team. Like, without naming names. Well, actually, you know what? Name names. I don't care. Do you think any other coach is onto something spicy this season? Like anyone else with a draft that made you kind of pause and kind of add things during the draft? Like which coach kind of got your attention with a pick or just the way they drafted?
Many teams. I think, in this kind of draft, no tier draft, there are some scary teams to
They're all
face.
scary. They're all pretty scary.
And I see a lot of strategies and kind of I don't know, but I think if I have to name two players, one for their team and the other for the level that he has, I think I'm afraid of Kinky Squeak teams.
Yeah.
I think it's overpowered, and even though I'm not afraid, or I'm never afraid of Dondo Tatsugiri.
Famous last words.
I think it's a strategy that I think I played before, and I think that has many counters. But if a player like Otto builds with Dondozo Tatsugiri, you should be afraid.
Yes.
I name Los Angeles Linux and the Trixie Tricos as my teams that I fear the most.
Yeah, two incredibly strong teams you just named there, and Otto as a player I'm probably more afraid of than his team itself. And I think you've seen enough of Otto around the Draft League community to agree with that. The Chi-Yu Fluttermane and Iron Bundle was just absolutely pivotal in VGC at one point. It was on every team. The three of them just went together like peanut butter and jelly with the bread. Let's call it the third piece. And then you have the Dozo Tatsugiri with the Revival Blessing, which no one's talking about, but that's a whole nother thing. Okay, but let's go into the fun part of the interview. It's all fun. But this is the more fun part, Mario, right?
Okay.
And you've been listening to the other interviews, and you know this is coming. I haven't told any of the questions about the rapid fire questions to anybody doing this, and you're no exception. So, rapid fire, you know what time it is. 1 sentence max. Let's go. What is the most annoying mon to face in draft VGC?
Annihilate, of course.
Annihilate, good answer. What is the best support move that people sleep on?
Support move.
That's more like, it's not like the most like follow me or whatever. It's like an underused support move.
Underused. I think Encore.
Yeah, Encore. Sometimes I feel like people know it's there until they get encored, and then they realize it's a problem. So that's good.
Yeah.
So let me see. So Terra Ghost or Terra Fairy for Paris Trap pivots?
Depends on what mon you want to Terra Ghost or Terra Fairy.
Yeah, I guess it's really mon specific, so that wasn't a very good one. So let's just move on to the next one. What is the best ability in VGC right now? And this is very subjective.
Best ability, Unseen Fist.
Unseen. You know what? Eliminating protect from the equation is a very good ability. Yeah, I agree with that. Some say it's intimidate, and some people say like inner focus, things like that. But no, I agree with that. Unseen fist and all of the Pokemon that get that ability, right? Other than the two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skill swap and take it. So is there a Pokemon that you wish you drafted but didn't?
And here,
Yeah.
yes, but we have 5 trades, so maybe for week 2,
Yeah. Okay.
picked
You don't have to share. Okay.
some of my favorites.
Yeah, I understand. A Pokemon that overperforms in draft but flops in VGC meta.
Incineroar, of course.
Oh no, I mean what does really well in draft but doesn't do well in VGC?
Oh, the opposite.
Yeah, you might have offended a lot of people with that answer.
I thought you were asking the. Okay, so good in draft, bad in VGC.
Yes.
I think Iron Valiant.
Oh, okay. I agree with that. Yeah, Iron Valiant's very good in draft, but in VGC it has a very niche role. So you don't see it a lot. And last question, what is the most fun off-meta pick you've ever brought to a match?
I'm between Skiploom and Roly-Coly. Oh,
Roly-Coly. Okay.
I used Roly-Coly against some team with Mukalola, Power of Alchemy.
Yeah, and the Flash Fire.
To have Flash Fire Mukalola, and I won, of course.
That's really funny. I don't think I've ever even heard of that strategy. That's really cool. But just because time is our enemy, what are your final words to the rest of the league before the battles begin? Like whether it's a warning, kind of a little wink, or just a bit of shade. The floor is yours.
Okay, I just want to give all of the coaches an advice. Prepare your Terraghost to escape my trap.
You heard it here. That's few words, but that's all he really says. He wants you to click Ghost. Don't do it. He wants you to do it. But hey, that's Coach Mario, everybody, and the Villablanca Belligods, and they're looking at a calculated storm this season. So subscribe for more YPL interviews. Comment your predictions. Please comment. We're not getting many of them, but there's so many talking points for Mario's MVP Pokemon. And stick around. We've got more insight, more breakdowns, and more battles ahead. See you later.